Jerry Mason, the Kicking Lawyer, and I'm at Jam Books and Records. And I wanted to go over the 3 fiction books that I recommend you guys try to read February 2024. Now, I have read 2 of the 3 of these books, but how the third one's flying off the shelf, that's part of the reason I'm going to recommend it. Plus, the author's great. So first, I got Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now, this book's been out a year or so. I read it last year, but it's great. If you're like me, and you typically read nonfiction. That's what I did before we decided we were going to do the store. So in the last year and a half, I started reading more fiction. I used to read history, business, law, boring stuff like that. So this was the second book that I read that was nonfiction. And honestly, it got me hooked on these kind of suspense books. Now, traditionally, Colleen Hoover is considered sort of a romance author. You know, she writes more feminine type stories. But this is a great thriller suspense book. It was so enjoyed by the readers that she even wrote an extra chapter to the book because there's kind of a twist at the end. There's a big twist at this book. Anyway, I recommend this for anybody. So whatever kind of books you like, I don't think it matters. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Highly recommend you check this one out. Now next, I'm almost finished with this first edition of the Fourth Wing series. So this is number 1. Iron Flame is the sequel that just recently came out. I have not started that yet. It's also flying off the shelf though, so I assume that it's a great book. Now, this is sort of a young adult fantasy novel. It's basically, without giving the plot away too much, about a young girl whose family in this fantasy world are dragon riders. She's really more of the nerdy type, for lack of a better term, and she ends up going into the dragon rider school and sort of about her adventures therein. At least that's kind of what this first one's about. Now, there's some other underlying political intrigue. I think there's some misdirection that you'll get into, and there is a twist. So anyway, so far it's been great. Can't keep it on the shelves. We do have some copies in right now, but I do recommend Fourth Wing if you haven't read it yet. And then last but not least, this book just came out. Now, I haven't read this specific book. It's House of Flame and Shadow in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas, but I did read Court of Thorn and Roses that she wrote, and she's a great author. So, and those books also are very popular, flying off the shelf. So I'm sure this one's great too. We've already got the ones that we have in stock, I think are spoken for, and we've got more on the way. So if you can come get them, I say spoken for, we don't hold the books. So unless you specifically prepaid, these books are available right now. You can come check them out at Jam Books and Records.